Hello, good evening, and welcome to the FB4 Daily. This show is brought to you by Paddy Power, a bookies, a website, and an app. If you gamble, please gamble responsibly and try to do so with Paddy Power. On tonight's show, it's myself and it's Karl Coppack. We're going to have a look forward to Liverpool versus Southampton, of course, a chance to extend the lead at the top before Man City travel to Spurs on Sunday. We're also going to keep an eye on the transfer window as it enters its last 2 hours. And Manchester United try to take players out of China when nobody is allowed to leave China. But look, we'll see how we get on. Here we go. And here we go. Karl, how are you, my man? And 19 points cleared. That's the first thing I wanted to say to you. How are you feeling about Liverpool Football Club nowadays?
It's gone a bit supernatural.
It's gone a bit mad. Yeah, it really has.
19 points is nuts. I've never known anyone be 19 points clear before, and it's a stupid thing. I'm doing this stupid thing on Twitter at the moment about like 3 games ago. I said it's now impossible for Norwich to win the league. You know, I'm trying to count it down day by day.
I think somebody said the other day if we is it a couple more wins and we're guaranteed
two wins. We're in the top 4.
Yeah, 2. That's what I read. Yep, that's it. That's insane, isn't it?
And I think Leicester and Chelsea can even make that 1 or something if they don't do something tomorrow. I'm not sure if they draw, then it gets even easier or something. Yeah, we're about 3 games away from being in the top 2. It's just stupid.
Yeah, it's insane. It absolutely is insane. You know, going back quickly onto the West Ham game, it was another one of those where I suppose bar 1 or 2 moments by West Ham, it was a very, very controlled performance, and one where you felt, yeah, it's a midweek game before another game at the weekend, but we couldn't have managed it any better, could we?
I think they were the perfect opposition as well. They've got absolutely no confidence whatsoever. They've got that yard dog on the sidelines who just can't put a team out, and it was minute 1 control, wasn't it? It was just absolutely the perfect performance of a mate of mine always uses the expression team go on to win 2-0. You know, those sort of games.
Yeah.
We're just 2 goals better than you. We could have made it 3 possibly if we wanted to, but no, we're all a bit tired. We're just going to get the points and keep out. We won't humiliate you too much, but there's absolutely no way you're in this game. Absolutely no chance.
It was a classic case of, you know, shaking hands on 70 on 2-0, I thought.
Yeah.
West Ham completely set off and just let us play ball. And there was the odd kind of thing where we went forward. There was the odd thing where they had a sniff. But other than that, I think if they'd have scored, it would have been like Liverpool would have went, oh, we're playing that game then. And would have went up and scored probably 2,
That's
possibly
not part of
3
the
more
rules.
goals.
We didn't agree to that.
Yeah.
We didn't agree to that.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. But look, it put us 19 points clear. Everyone's on an even amount of games, which I'm absolutely over the moon. But boy, yeah. I don't like this. The game in hand and stuff like that, and points on the board and all this sort of stuff. So I'm absolutely thrilled. It's made me weak that we're all on 24 games each. I'm going to be honest with you. Not as much, I suppose, as being on 70 points after 24
That's
games.
the bigger deal, isn't it?
Slightly bigger deal. Slightly bigger deal.
It's a plinth, that.
Yeah.
70's a decent-ish season.
Yeah, I suppose, like, you know, looking at the league table, I am happy that everyone's on 24, but when I looked at the right-hand column and I see 70 as opposed to 51, that is slightly more, I suppose, entertaining to me than all the 24s down the left-hand side. But looking forward to Southampton. A lot of people on podcasts and on social media that I've read and looked at seem to think that this will be a real test for Liverpool. Southampton are in decent form. I think they've won 5 of their last 7. They were 2-0 up against Wolves in the last game that they lost and went on to lose. They were 2-0 up at half time, I think, and went on to lose the game 3-2. They got a good draw against Spurs in the FA Cup at home. What way do you see this? What do you make of Southampton, I suppose? Because when you go back a couple of months ago, they're being beaten 9-0 at home by Leicester after having a man sent off after about 15 minutes. And they've turned it around massively to actually go and beat Leicester away in the last couple of weeks and are 9th in the league. And I think they're probably 4 or 5 points off. Are they probably 5 points off Europa spot?
Something like that, yeah.
It's very close.
It's a weird one, this, because every single team Liverpool are going to play now are going to be the problem side. I talk to Trevor about this all the time. No matter, you could say, like, when we play Bournemouth at home, someone's going to say, yeah, but this could be the game where, Liverpool to take their eye off the ball, etc. Liverpool should beat Southampton. Liverpool should beat everyone. But I was at the game at St Mary's earlier in the season, and that was a hard game. We really pulled that one out of the bag.
I thought they were the better side for probably 25 minutes of that. From
easily, yeah. And the way they started was really strong as well. Leaving that game that night was a sense of, that was hard. We've done really well to come out of that, and we battled all the way. And the same with the game last season as well, where of course they took the lead, and then Salah scored and Henderson scored, and Kaiser, I think it was his first goal and first league goal, and that was there's a mate of mine who says that the most Salah celebration behind the goal was the big one of the season, and he was absolutely right. Yeah. So it's something to beat Southampton, and yet we always batter them at home for some reason. We always do really, really well against them. I remember a 0-0 draw a couple of years ago, but they're a weird side, aren't they? Because, they are capable of going to Chelsea and winning. And yet it's no one raises an eyebrow if they get battered by West Ham or, Watford or someone like that. They're a strange side. I just can't quite make them out. I'm never sure who they're going to play up front for a start. But they are organised. I think that's the big thing that he's done with them. As we call him on our podcast, David Hasselhoff, because no one can remember what the manager's name is.
Yeah, Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff has done really, really well. So I'm also, I should explain to everyone, I'm keeping an eye on the transfer window. Yep. Leicester have signed Ryan Bennett on loan.
Ryan Bennett's centre half. Ryan Bennett.
I think so. Yeah.
Where was he? Was he with Wolves at one stage? Ryan Bennett. That it could be the different player I'm completely thinking of. But
Man United agreed deal with Shanghai to sign Odion Ighalo on an initial 6-month loan.
It's insane. How are they getting him out of China?
I think where Man United we do what we want, maybe a bit tested in this case.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, there's Man United will do what we want, and then there's international law. And
I have seen somebody, it might have been Ben Johnson on Twitter, said, no, this is all being planned. They're going to get Ighalo in. They're going to drive him around Manchester, high-fiving Alex Ferguson and spread the coronavirus because Liverpool are 19 points clear. The Wolves lad, it's Bennett. Ryan Bennett is the Wolves lad. Leicester have signed him on loan.
Yeah, signed him on loan.
That's a strange one. Kev O'Sullivan says after the 9-0 defeat, the board deserves immense credit. That's just going back to Southampton.
They really do. Yeah, that is something. Because again, when we beat them, he was under pressure then. Yeah. And to come back from that, and I watched the last half hour in that game, and they were literally, the centre backs that night were just standing watching the ball go over their heads so Vardy could get another one. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it was
so bad.
Madness. But the turnaround from them has been brilliant. Shawnee Lawson says, all right, Gav, all right, Shawnee, my main man. First time dad says, poetry in motion, lifting the trophy versus Chelsea. They should let Stevie lift it for a bit of crack. No, they shouldn't. Jordan Henderson has this patented now, and that's how it goes. He will have to be quarantined, says North Red. He will have to be quarantined
for about 6 months.
Yeah, and they've signed him on an initial 6-month loan.
Yeah.
So are they just bringing him over to quarantine him and then sending them back?
I think they're just going to show him to the Stretford end and then just say, look, we did buy someone. Yeah. And then put him back again.
Yeah. PW says he was watching the United stand earlier talking about Ighalo, and they were just laughing at their own club for trying to sign that guy. It was legitimately funny. It's blown my mind. It's absolutely blown my mind.
If you'd said to me earlier today, name 100 strikers.
Yeah, Ighalo's definitely not in that list.
And you know him.
Yeah.
And you know this man's name.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have come up with him. I thought he'd retired anyway.
It's absolutely insane.
Well, I think when you go to China, you have retired, haven't you? Xavi and things like that.
Wasn't he? It was a bit like there's another striker in my head that I can't think of. That it was. Oh, I'll get him in a minute. But he must be on. He's probably on 150 grand a week over there.
Yeah, easy.
Well, who was the other guy that showed up in England, done okay, and then just left? Oh. And he went off to China.
Didn't he?
No, it wasn't Oscar. This was a striker. He turned up in England. I think he. Now, I could be getting this completely wrong. He might have had one good season and just turned around and went off to China. I'll get him by the end of the show. And if I don't, I'll tweet you personally about it to let you know.
It's not Januzaj, because I looked at Januzaj the other day to see where he is.
No, not Januzaj. This was a striker that showed up, literally showed up, and then they were like, he's off to China. And we were like, what the fuck's going on? Graziano Pelle, says Sean Lawson. No, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. There was a striker, and it was one of those where we're going, what is going on here? Like it was definitely in the Premier League. It'll come back to me.
Okay.
Let me see. Where are we going? Yeah, we'll try to keep the transfer stuff going as we go along. The Gallo stuff is absolutely mental. That's him. Chemical Kev. Asajian. Wasn't he with Sunderland?
Asajian, yeah.
Wasn't he with?
Yeah. But he was like 35 or something.
Wasn't he with Sunderland? Was it with Sunderland? Chemical Kev says it. It is Asajian, or his name is Gian, Gyan.
Yeah. I've got a little fact for him if you want.
Yeah, go, yeah.
He DJ'd at Steve Bruce's wife's birthday party. Fact.
and then pissed off to China.
I hope it was a house party.
They probably paid for his flight. His fee was the flight to China.
Yeah.
And he went, listen, I'm off to China. Like, he literally turned up. Was it Sunderland? It was Sunderland, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's gone as captain in the Suarez handball game.
Yeah, and then he just came to Sunderland for a little bit, and then just, I'm off to China for mad money.
He was okay. He was all right, but yeah, it was a bit of a weird one.
It's a bit of a weird one. We are going to try to talk about Liverpool, Southampton, but the stuff coming in around players enjoying it, getting out of China, Gallo, all sorts of stuff. There's loads of names being thrown in here. Like Arnautovic went off. He went off to China, of course, yeah. Megan says United tried to bring back Josh King today for 20 million and considered a 25 million bid at some stage today. I don't think that's going to happen. Let me see. Barry Carr says Michu was the lad at Swansea who started out like a house on fire and within 2 seasons was playing in the third division in Spain.
Yeah.
Isn't he? Yeah, that's him. Mad stuff. And that, like, when you think about it, this one is a mad one. But, like, when you think of all the other players that have done this stuff, unbelievable. Adam Wingy says Shawnee Lawson outside Loftus Road was the best. That was amazing.
That's my most retweeted tweet.
That is amazing.
I said like he went down there literally just because he thought that it was like Jack and the Beanstalk where people were giving out magic beans.
Yeah.
That was when QPR just got all that money for no reason.
Yeah.
And he just drove down there.
Yeah, Shawnee Lawson says he thought he was rocking up for a medical. They didn't even make a bid for him.
They didn't make a bid. No,
was it Harry Redknapp in charge at the time?
He just I can't remember who it was now. I think it was Redknapp. Yeah, he just assumed they'd want him.
Okay. Yeah, because
you got to respect that.
It was Harry Redknapp in charge of QPR at the time, wasn't it? Yeah. Keith Plunkett says Gian or Goyan, whatever way you want to say it.
Gian it is.
Gian, okay. He was a rapper as well. He said he was called
Baby
Baby
Jet. Right. Yeah.
Baby Jet, the rapper.
Oh, blame! I know my Ghana in
2010. Yeah, that is unbelievable. Yeah, like the Adam Wingy one was great, wasn't he? He just he made his own way to Loftus Road, turned up at the door and was like, I'm here. And they were like, who are you? And what are you doing here? And then he's like, no, I'm here. I'm signing for QPR. And they were like, no, not today, bud. And they just sent them back out the door. Absolutely unbelievable. I just visions of him sitting on the step outside, you know.
And then he had to go back and sort of. Then he went back and did the old. Was it Stoke he was with?
Was it Stoke or West Brom? Yeah. It was Stoke.
Oh, wait, it was West Brom. Then he went to Stoke afterwards.
Yeah.
He went back to West Brom and said, "Oh, yeah, my heart remains here."
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, mate. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'm not quite convinced by your loyalty, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I was only messing, lads. I was only messing.
Yeah.
My wife wanted to go shopping in London, and we ended up at Loftus Road. First time Dad says, do you remember the friendly Shelbourne versus Liverpool in the early 90s? I do. I was at it. Talca Park in Dublin. If you want to expand on that, you can. First time that. Sander Berg to Sheffield United is really good business, reckons Megan McCallion. I haven't seen a lot of him. He was with Genk.
No.
Was it Genk he was with? Yeah. Sander.
Yeah. Oh, well, kind of thing.
This guy that was with this guy was with Genk. He's gone to Sheffield United for about, I think it's a club record, might be 20+ million. He looked okay when he played against us, but I haven't seen him other than that. Chris Pross says, what's Grizz on about a special person at Anfield tomorrow? I don't know. The rumour is Kai Havertz representatives, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Right, trying to get back to Southampton. Let's see how we get on. So we approach this game 19 points clear. We do have the you say advantage, but it's starting to become like null and void at this stage. That City play Spurs on Sunday at Spurs, 4:30 on Sunday. And although we are this far apart, how big is it for us to put another win on the board? And I've seen people mention City watching that game on Saturday and being in the hotel Saturday night and going, it's 22 points now. You know, how big is that?
22 points, just like, you know, when like you played Sabutio as a kid when you played a league.
Yeah.
And you never ever lost. You know, it's just like a cartoon thing. That's just a cartoon lead now. It's like you play like Football Manager on the lowest possible setting and you don't lose a game for 7 years. That's what it feels like now. Played 38, won 38, plus 475 against 2. That sort of thing. We're looking at those sorts of levels now. And he was asked today, how do you improve this squad? And he said, I don't know. We will have to try at some point, but I don't know how you do it.
It's forward planning, I think, for players that are getting towards 30 years of age, and they reckon that they'd be in this kind of red zone more as their level probably doesn't drop as much as you think, but when players are in this red zone a lot more, their stamina suffers and stuff like that, and that's when you have to start looking like, I don't know, say Mo Salah in 2 years' time will be 30. Of the amount of football he's played and the way he plays football, he will start to drop off levels, and that's where you might look to do something like that. But at the moment, you're probably looking at just saying, right, 2 or 3 in the squad, can we improve on them, and to put even more pressure on the first 11 that are it's a fairly clear first 11, I think, when all things are said and done, and that's probably the only way you can do it. But it's psychologically for me, I think if you go 22, it's mad. Like Shawnee's on here tonight and he's throwing in comments, and he said to us in the WhatsApp group, it's literally like FIFA, where you think you're going to lose a game and you power off the console, and when you come back, you're back where you started and you try win the game, and you never lose a game because you always have that power off button if you need it, to stop you ever having to stop you ever losing. And when you look 24, play 24, won 23, drew 1, but best goal difference and all sorts. It's not like we're edging things 1-0. We've the best goal difference as well, so it's not like it's ridiculous. But going into this one, like people have said, Southampton won 5 and 7. That they have to be looking upwards now and saying, look, okay, Wolves are good, but they can be a little bit dodgy at times, and they've a Europa League campaign that's still going on. You look at Manchester United; they can't be relied upon. Chelsea, even in 4th place, are a little bit dodgy when no one seems to be grabbing any of these spots. Arsenal are a mess. Palace are probably in around there at some stage if I looked at the table. But surely Southampton themselves are looking upwards and saying, there's 14 games left. If we win, if we can put in the 8 wins on the board here, probably throw 2 or 3 draws in and probably 3 defeats, we could be right in the mix here, because
every chance.
I think a massive chance. I think somewhere in the mid-60s would probably push it towards Champions League. That's
every chance, yeah. Because I mean, you're right. I mean, I was talking to a mate of mine before about the big game of the weekend is obviously the City game, but also Leicester Chelsea, the first game tomorrow. And my mate said, yeah, but what Chelsea are you going to get? Do you get the dead good Chelsea or the one that got beat by Southampton on Boxing Day? And they really deserve to win that game, Southampton. I watched that, and the second goal was incredible. And in Ings in form and everything. And Man United, it's no longer a shock if Man United lose a game. It's in the 90s, if Man United lost a game, you went out.
Yeah.
It was a reason to go meet your mates afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, I remember when Southampton beat them, was it 6-3, whatever that time was.
Laetitia was chipping Schmeichel and doing all sorts of messing, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that in work a week later. Yeah, that's a big deal. United lose now. I can't even remember the last game they won. It's I know they lost at Burnley. No one was talking about that. That was just it's just United, isn't it?
Southampton.
But now they've got N'Gala. That could change now, obviously, because he's one of the top 300 strikers in the world.
Yeah, Southampton. I'm looking here. So don't get me wrong. I'm not putting Sheffield United down here, but Sheffield United have been raved about this season, and rightly so. Now they've lost 7 games. They've only won 8. They've drawn 9. They've scored 25 and conceded 23. But they've been constantly in games. I can't think of a game this season where Sheffield United have been put to the sword. Probably Anfield, when we just dominated from start to finish, and the record amount of passes, and probably should have been 3 or 4. But when we talk about Sheffield United and you say what a great season they're having, Southampton are 2 points behind them. Southampton are 3 points behind Manchester United.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Sheffield United aren't having a good season for a promoted club. I mean, that needs saying. They just, because everyone expects Norwich, that sort of season. Aren't they doing well? They play really nice football. They'll win 3 games and you'll never hear from them again. So they're having a good season for that. Southampton are always about 13th, 14th, aren't they? And it's never a game. I always enjoy the away game, and it's never a game where I'm worried about them against at home. And actually, my first ever Liverpool game was against Southampton.
Now,
going back in black and white.
Having said that, they're 8 points off the drop zone. You know, they're 5.
Well, the league's nuts, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
there's like
I think
there's 5 points between everyone.
Yeah, they're 6 points ahead of Aston Villa, who's sitting 16th. You know, but there's a chance here that the bottom 4 are going to be cut. Bottom 5 probably will be, bottom 6. Brighton have 25 points, and then it's a jump to 30 points to Newcastle. But it's just a mad one, like, you know. Chris Brack says he's hoping in the summer we buy one belter for the front three, like a Werner, so we have a season to bed him in. And future-proofed for injury, one of our front three leaving in the summer of 2021. Of course, you have the African nations. Kylian Mbappe would just be off the charts. John O says he expects 1 or 2 top signings this summer. We can't go another window without making a significant addition. You've got to avoid going stale and complacency for next season. I think that's a very fair point. Chemical Kev says only Wolves recently have come into a game thinking they might get a win. Everyone else knows they are beat. I think Southampton will be the same. Chris Brack says Southampton have the 5th best away form in the league. We will win, but it'll be a game we have to work for. First time Dad asks, what's the full story with Ings? Is that with regards to his time at Liverpool? You'll have to expand a little bit on that for me. Their away record.
It was in the press conference today, and he was like saying Klopp was saying that Ings got injured in his first ever Klopp session.
Yeah.
And Ings just did a big thing about he said that the medical team, they were just so good at, his words were, they went above and beyond what you'd normally expect a medical team to do. They were just with him all the time, and he felt really supported by it.
Yeah. Oh no, listen, there's no hard feelings there with Danny Ings in Liverpool. I think
big fan. I think he's a great player.
I think he's very, very good. Would he get into the Liverpool squad? On current form, probably yes. Overall, I'm not too sure. The way we play, I like him as a player. I like the way he works hard. I think he suits Southampton down to the ground, and he's the main man there. And I think that suits him as well. It was a bit like that at Burnley, although he played off the front man a little bit at Burnley, but he was their main man. And I think that suits him. I think when he's told and he's given that freedom to be, you know, the main guy there, and you're the spearhead, I think that really does suit him. Coming into a Liverpool side and asking to carry a bit of Salah's water or Mane's water or Firmino's water, I suppose, and it may affect him a little bit. But look, all the best to him. Like you said, he has a bad injury in his first ever training session with Klopp. He goes off. He comes back, I think, and he plays against Leeds in a League Cup game.
That's right,
He goes into a tackle, he looks fine, and then afterwards it's the same injury again, if I remember right. And he's gone again. But like you said, the relationship between him, Klopp, and the medical staff of Liverpool looked to be really, really close. And even when he was leaving, he had great things to say about Liverpool, and Liverpool had great things to say about him. And
Klopp said today, he said, I know he's not our player, but he's still our boy. And I really like that. That's a really nice expression to use. Yeah. He's still our boy.
Like, I take us being 3-0 up with 5 minutes to go and Ings getting a consolation. I'd take that. That's
fair enough.
And I love a clean sheet, and I love all that.
Although he has scored against us already this season, so he shouldn't take the piss too.
Well, does he count that? I think that's when Adrian had his head.
But he's done that twice, hasn't he? I like the fact he's got 2 goals doing exactly the same thing, because that's how Lloris got his injury at Tottenham. Yeah. That same game, wasn't it?
Yeah. He did, and he works so hard, and he's willing to chase people down and look for mistakes, and he's a good finisher. If you watch him this season, he's a good finisher. I think he's 15. Yeah. I think he has over half of Southampton's goals this season in the league. It's something along them lines. Chris Brack says he thinks Ings is a better all-round player than Origi, but Origi has the right mindset to come off the bench in pressure situation to score crucial goals. I think it's Origi's physicality, power. I think that's what does it for him. Megan McCallion thinks Ings deserves a chance to go to the Euros with England. Not a bad show. One major addition each year for the foreseeable, fleshing out the squad, says Sean Lawson. How Fergie did it, always went big on one player. John O says Ings was unlucky with us. Let me see. And Sean also reckons that he's in with a shout going to the Euros. Look, we're going into this. You see in the team that played on Wednesday. Do you see many changes to
that? Maybe.
And where do you think?
I can't see it being too many, to be honest. It is a bit of a short period turnaround between those two, isn't it? So I'm not entirely sure, but I think he might just go again. You know.
I think he might as well. One big push, and he's definitely knocking that FA Cup on the head. And if they win, they win, and we'll deal with it later on. But he's definitely saying right now 2 weeks off, and because I've heard now that he basically is going to give them like a mini pre-season during these 2 weeks to get them ready for what's to come after the break. Obviously nailing this league title, and then the Champions League comes into effect. But looking at it, you're going not Adrian, you're going Alisson and goal. Trent comes off the other night. People were wondering whether it was a fitness, was it?
He did mention him, and he said he's okay.
Yeah, I think it was just a case of he looked a little bit tired, and we can put Henderson in there. So we're going to go Trent and Robertson. We're going to go Gomez and Van Dijk. I don't think there's any doubt there. The midfield, the front three is obviously where the conversation's going to come up.
Does he bring back Fabinho?
That's the question. What do you think?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he might bring him on. Mm-hmm. But I think he goes because Chamberlain scored, didn't he? So and let's face it, when you talk about the middle of midfield three, it's always about the other one.
Yeah,
because it's always going to be Henderson. It's always going to be Wijnaldum.
Yeah,
unless he fancies resting the captain, I don't know, but I doubt it. He could actually rest Henderson and bring Fabinho in and play Chamberlain and Wijnaldum.
Yeah. Like Chris Brack has, he's gone for Keita, Henderson, Wijnaldum with Salah, Firmino, and Chamberlain up front. I'm not a fan of that. I don't like seeing.
No, I don't like Chamberlain
up front. That I'm not a fan of it either.
No.
So you're going with Wijnaldum. You're going to go with Henderson, and who's your third man in there? You're going to stick with Chamberlain because he gets that goal.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because I think he probably does, and I think he brings Fabinho on when we're 2-0 up in 10 minutes to go, and people are getting tired.
Okay. Shawnee Lawson said to me earlier he reckons Keita will start. Is there a show for Keita? He comes back. Now, look, he only come on for whatever it was. It might have been 15 minutes the other night. Keith Plunkett backs that up and reckons Keita will be in midfield. Is it one of those games where, like I say this all the time, it's one of those games where teams sit back and Keita has a bit more creativity? But we have that every week. And Chamberlain's playing and winning games.
He has scored against Southampton as well. And Klopp likes things like that.
Yeah.
He likes a bit of history because he scored at St Mary's last season on the Friday night.
Yeah, like
he does like things like that.
Like if we're talking, like Fabinho has come on the pitch more than Keita has over the last couple of games, and they're both coming back from injury. Why would Keita jump ahead of Fabinho in that thing? In that process, is it one of those where Keita just, we'd have a lot, not that he'll have a lot of time on the ball, but we'll have a lot of instances where he's on the ball with the whole game facing him, and he's more effective than Chamberlain at that. Is that where the lads are coming from with this? What do you reckon?
Possibly, yeah. I think he brings Fabinho on like he did at Wolves, in the James Milner substitute role. Mm-hmm. There you go. It's all getting a bit hectic out there, lads. James, you go on, just shut everything down for a bit. And I think because Fabinho did that at Wolves, and I think maybe he brings them on at that. But I think the game's going to be over by then, to be honest. I mean, I think they're a good side, Southampton, but I'm expecting a win clean sheet.
Okay, winning clean sheet. So you're going to go with Chamberlain in there?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, and the front three, Origi does come off. He has a bit of ice on the hamstring. When he comes off, I think Klopp has updated and said he's fine as well. Are you going Origi? Are you going Salah? And are you going Firmino? Or is there a shout there for a Minamino to come in? Maybe does he mix it up a little bit?
I think he might bring Minamino on just because it's at home and no one likes playing at Wolves away. I know Minamino got some stick for that, but it wasn't his game really because he didn't have time on the ball enough. We were just too busy doing a big aerobics class in the middle of the pitch like we always do against them.
Yeah.
I think he might start Minamino. I think he might do.
Okay. You think he might start Minamino?
I think he might do, yeah.
Yeah, and just
give Origi a few days off.
Okay, all right. Southampton. I was surprised they've let, what way do we say this, Suarez or Soares?
Suarez, yeah.
Okay. I'm surprised they've let him go on loan to Arsenal. I think he's been very impressive whenever I've seen Southampton.
That's mad. That's mad that they've done that.
Is he
absolutely insane? And Yoshida's gone as well. I know he wasn't playing, but
yeah, like to me, he was their regular right back. He's been integral in. Okay, he was there when they were poor, but he's been integral in being a lot more organised. He's looked really good both going forward and defending. He's a really intelligent footballer. I think he's a really good defender. Very strange for Southampton to turn around 2 days before the window ends and loan him to Arsenal.
Yeah, that's absolutely nuts.
What's going on there? Like, is it? It's a very strange one because if he was out with contract, you try to get a few quid from him before he leaves for free in the summer. If he's 18 months left, you're not under mad pressure. You can see how you can.
And also, Arsenal are a rival.
Well, right in the table right now, they are, yeah.
Yeah, they're right next to him, yeah.
Yeah, like it's a bit of a mad one. Like Avo says, Southampton close down quick, similar to us. He thinks Fabinho starts. Chemical Kev says, let me say, Let me see.
They do press like bastards. They really do.
Oh, Chemical Kev has to go because he has an early start tomorrow. But just in case you missed it, Liverpool have 70 points. Arsenal and Chelsea have 70 points between them. 3 West Hams make 69. United and Spurs make 68. And City plus Norwich make 68. Absolute madness. What a way to sign off there, Chemical Kev. Let me see.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not
He's
wrong.
not wrong there at all.
He's not wrong. Rumours flying about that Jurgen Klopp is allowing Genie to speak to other clubs. Well, he's 18 months left in the deal, so I don't know if he can speak to other clubs unless they're going to do something this summer. I don't see a problem here. I think we just need to relax. I
wrote about Wijnaldum last week, and I did a bit of reading round on it, and Wijnaldum just said we haven't done it because I've got a league to win.
Okay.
And I think I trust him more than Michael Owen.
Yeah, I think that, they'll sort the deal out. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's absolutely fine. Southampton signed Kyle Walker-Peters on loan from Spurs. Yeah, but Kyle Walker-Peters looks a good talent, but he's not established, and I don't think he improves Southampton to where they want to be in the next couple of months.
Not really.
Somebody says there, Bellum guy says Suarez's contract was going, and they got money for the loan. So they obviously got a few quid for that loan, and then he will go in the summer. Shawnee says they loaned him because if they sold him, they owed him a loyalty bonus. So happy for Arsenal to pay a fee and half his wages at the end of the season. Right, that makes absolute sense now.
Okay.
But I can't understand why they didn't. That loyalty bonus, surely it wouldn't be worth as much as if they could move up and get a Europa League spot, and that money would probably cover it. And
also, I don't ever understand about these things just appear. They're not. This has been going on for 2 years.
Yeah,
it's not as if they've suddenly gone, oh, hang on, he could go here.
Yeah,
they always know.
It's a bit of a shame. Maybe bad planning. Look, it's not a bad thing for us if they're starting the likes of a Kyle Walker-Peters instead of Cedric Suarez at Anfield tomorrow.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. No. From what I've seen in Southampton, they do play this 3 at the back. If I remember, I'm nearly sure they play 3 at the back.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But they've got some decent players that work hard. Like Stuart Armstrong came from Celtic, works very, very hard for them.
I think he's injured.
Oh, well, that's great.
I think he's injured.
You have Nathan Redmond, who impresses most.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
The left back that everyone should sign, but never actually goes and signs.
The European Cup winner,
former Chelsea man. Yeah, his name's gone out of my head, but they should.
Ryan Bertrand
seems
started
to work.
The European Cup final.
Yep, and is a decent left back, to be honest. Nathan Redmond works well with him. What way do you see them going up front? Because they do mix it up a little bit. I think they mix it because Danny Ings probably at stages needs, even though he's back, he's firing, he probably needs a break every now and then just to make sure everything's absolutely fine with him. A little bit of wear and tear. You have Shane Long that's got a couple of goals, surprisingly, in the last little while. Obviously, Danny Ings is there. They have
Shea, that lad.
Yeah,
Che, is that his name?
Yeah, Che Adams. They have him. So what way do you see them going? Do you see them just going with, they will have a back 3, they'll probably have 2 wing backs, and will it be a case of 4 compact in midfield and leave 1 up front, or do you think they'll be
I think they go 1 up front.
Yeah,
I think they go 1 up front, to be honest. Yeah, and see they can push up whenever they need to, and hope they get a set piece off Ward-Prowse. Yeah,
Ward-Prowse's a really good player. I really like him. But what's their outlook? People are talking about the pressing, and that they press hard and they push up the pitch. Do you see them doing that against us, or do you see them letting us get so far and then trying to press, win it, and break?
I think, yeah. I mean, it's interesting what Sheffield United say. They talk about their split centre backs and things like that. Sorry, when we played them at Bramall Lane, and he said, yeah, we're very keen on this split centre back thing. And he said, he believes it against Liverpool. They just laughed at him. No,
yeah.
And I think there's always a case of that. We've got this philosophy, but if you go to Anfield and we're 19 points ahead of the league and we're absolutely webbing everyone, then I think it's going to be a case of let's try and get a 0-0. Let's just try and keep it tight. I can't see the problem with playing Liverpool is you can't have a go at Liverpool unless you've got Adama Traore and Jimenez and people like that. You can't run at Liverpool because you'll leave gaps and they'll kill you in midfield and they'll kill you on the wings.
Yeah, and the thing I see about Liverpool now is you might get a goal against them, but you're not. It's very rare you're getting 2, and it's very rare you're stopping Liverpool from scoring 2. So the percentages and the chance of you winning the game or taking it out, it just keeps dropping all the time when you look at the way Liverpool perform and the way others perform. And that might sound like an absolutely obvious thing to say because, let's be honest, Liverpool have won 23 and 24. So I'm not coming out with like eye-opening light bulb moments here. But teams, like lads in our WhatsApp group have said, lads, teams are going to start resting players against us. and
Yeah,
they're better
they have
players
to. They have to.
because they don't want to go out and get beaten and risk one of their better players being injured or being tired for next week's game when it's a 6-pointer for a Europa League spot or a 6-pointer for Champions League or a 6-pointer in the relegation. And this will start to happen. Like, we will get to that stage, and are we at it now? Probably not. But after this break, I think you may see it where people start going, oh, he's not playing. And it'll make more sense as this happens week on week. Do you see it happening when this break starts, that players start being rested? Because, look, why risk it in a game where the chances of us winning are very, very fucking low?
Yeah, I think so. If you think, like, say that Southampton have got Arsenal next week, which one have you got the better chance at? Which one do you want Danny Ings at?
Yeah.
Which one fully fit? Well, because he's not going to win. I think he may well score against Liverpool because he already has this season. But it's the ultimate McCarthy thing, a Wolves thing, isn't it? When he got slagged off, arrested on the players, and they did it at West Brom. Did the same thing where they arrested 9 players once against United.
Yeah,
because they had Wolves the next week or something.
Yeah.
And you can see it happening because the league is that tight that if you write off the Liverpool game and you get 3 points the next week, that could be 4 places in the league.
Yeah. As simple as that. As opposed to playing your better players, losing against Liverpool, they're tired next week and you get a draw. And it's 1 point or it's no points.
Yeah.
When you kind of, hedge your bets a little bit and it works out for you. Rumour is that Southampton will continue to play a 4-2-2 formation. Very ballsy of True, says Chris Brack. I thought you were playing 3 at the back. I could have sworn I've seen them play once or twice. Now,
I think they did at St Mary's.
Yeah, I thought he played 3 at the back. Maybe listen, in recent times 4-2-2-2 is their formation because that's worked for them and it's got them back from, like, they were nearly in oblivion with a 9-0 home defeat. Like, let's be
Would you do that against our fullbacks?
I don't think so.
Feel free to have the entire wings to yourself, lads.
4-2-2-2 to me is just 4-4-2, and you're trying to push our wingers up high.
It's very, very narrow wingers, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it can be, but like they won't be narrow. They're going to sit on Robertson and sit on Trent. Yeah. That's just the way it goes. Did Højbjerg moves? Asked Barry Kerr. Was there a rumour of him moving? He reckons that Sheffield United have done brilliant business as well. I've only seen that Berg lad.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they were signing anybody else with regards to Sheffield United. Karl, couple of things before we go, right? We have our Paddy Power charity bet, and every time I seem to have this charity bet, you're on the show. I think you were a goal away from your last bet coming in. So I think so, yeah. I want you to have a little think about a bet. So, do you know the usual? We're going to pick one bet that's outrageous. We're going to pick one bet that's middle of the road, and we're going to pick one bet that's quite safe. I'm going to give you the middle of the road one this week, and I'll choose safe and outrageous afterwards. That's the first thing. The second thing is we've a couple of minutes left. If anybody wants to throw in any random questions, you're more than welcome to throw them in. And the clock starts now.
Please, not about chocolate.
Not about chocolate.
I get
Karl doesn't like
week.
chocolate, and every week chocolate comes up. That's because of the solid Easter eggs that me and Andy spoke about.
Yeah, that's right.
It's still going on to today. There's been a lot of reaction on Twitter as well, by the way, because Phil has cast iron promised that if and when Liverpool win the title, he's going to get loads of the day trippers back that haven't been on podcasts in years and put them all in the same room and just let Bedlam proceed. He's promised you that. That's nothing to do with me. Phil has promised you that, so make sure you follow up with Phil on that. But if and when Liverpool win the league, if the people mentioned end up in the same room doing a podcast, end of day stuff, absolutely end of day stuff, because they're all absolutely bonkers. So I'm not going to let Karl think about his bet for a couple of minutes, and the random questions can come in as well. The bets, like Barry Carr says, Bruno to score for United. No, we're not doing United bets. Chris Brack has Liverpool to win and Gomez to score. We'll put that down as the outrageous one. So I'm just going to take a note of that, and we'll get back to the other ones in a few minutes. Before we go, or before we get on to random stuff and things like that, Karl, give me your score prediction, and if you want to throw some score in, absolutely go for that as well.
Liverpool score. We'll win 2-0 tomorrow.
Okay, 2-0. Do you want to throw any scores at me?
Salah 2.
Both for Salah.
both for Salah.
Now, I looked last week in Salah where Paddy Power was 11-1 to be top scorer in the Premier League by the end of the season.
Oh, hang on. Firmino hasn't scored Anfield, has he?
No.
Firmino too.
Okay, Firmino too. Okay.
Yeah.
Megan,
I think we're gonna get a double scorer tomorrow.
Okay. Megan McCallion has Salah to score. And Salah to score any time in Liverpool to keep a clean sheet. Megan, I'm going to put that down as one of the bets as well. So Salah and a clean sheet from Megan. That's one of the bets. You want 2-0 and Firmino both.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have Liverpool to win and Gomez to score. Okay. We get one more in there at some stage. Others has 2-2. I don't think so. I don't think that's happening. Naby Keita to score from Barry Carr. You're going with 2-0. I'm going to go with 3-1 to Liverpool.
I thought 3-1 possibly as well. I'm not having us concede a goal. Not Virgil against his old club.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1, and I've gone 3-1 the last couple of weeks, and they haven't been really fucking close to coming off. But this one feels like a 3-1 to me. It feels like Liverpool come out probably 2-0 up at half time, maybe get a third halfway through the second half, and Southampton get a consolation. And if they do, it's Danny Ings. I'm going to go with 3-1. Scoring wise, I like Virgil for one. I do like Virgil for one. I think that he's looking more and more threatening week on week. I think we're looking a little bit more threatening in now we've been good from set pieces and goals and stuff, but Virgil, I like the thoughts of that. I actually think Chamberlain will score again if he'll start, and I want.
He does tend to score like in sort of consecutive games, doesn't he? He likes doing that.
He gets a little streak. Now the streak could be only 2 games, but it's a streak. Yeah. I'll put you down as that for a streak. And I'm going to put Minamino down for one off the bench. I'm going to put Minamino down for off the bench. If I gave you 11-1 on Salah being top scorer by the end of the season, would you take it though? I think he's 5 off the top now at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
because we're only playing bottom 10 now, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I think our next 6 games are really, really, really winnable games. Like,
yeah,
you know. So it's one of those. Avo says, since you haven't had an Indian meal, he won't ask me this question because I haven't. What's Chris's favourite Indian food? That's Chris Brack who loves his food.
Okay.
Karl, your favourite Indian food as well, while Chris types out an answer.
I like a king prawn danzak.
Okay, what is that?
Danzak is your chickpea meal.
Okay.
It's quite a mild curry, quite tomatoey.
Okay.
I do like my king prawns. I do actually like a king prawn biryani. I know that's the weakest possible one.
Okay.
In fact, I was because I work for a charity. I was out with one of my volunteers who's Asian about 2 weeks ago, and I told her about the level of strength I like my curries, which is weak. And her words were, and I quote her here, Gav, pathetic.
Yeah,
was the word she used.
Yeah,
pathetic.
And did you take that on the chin and go, yeah, she's probably right?
I can't really argue, to be honest. I mean, a curry pot noodle's a bit heavy for me, to be honest. But
or really strong salt and vinegar crisps.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need a bottle of water with that.
Okay. Let me see. You'll know this stuff. I won't. Chris Brack has chicken tikka curry with peas rice. Don't know what that is.
Pilau rice. Yeah, okay.
No, he has peas. P-E-A-S, like peas.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. I've never had an Indian meal, and like people get really upset with this. And then to top it off, Andy wanted to ban Chinese food completely last week. You know, I got really upset.
They do the prawn very good, the Chinese. I do like prawns a lot.
Yeah, no, I'm not a prawn eater either. You know, a prawn cracker maybe from the Chinese.
See, I don't like prawn crackers, but I love prawns. I could eat king prawns all day.
Okay,
I have eaten king prawns today.
Megan McCallion has chicken korma. I've heard of that. I have heard of that.
Although I'm not a fan of James Corden at all, I did like what he said in Gavin Estates when he said, your korma is basically useless. It doesn't do anything. It's basically, it's like a smell of curry rather than eating one. Well, there's no balls to it.
Nordred asks, and I know the answer to this, but I'm going to humour him. Sherlock Holmes or Columbo?
Get off my phone.
Yeah. Right, so...
Bearing in mind, I host the Sherlock Holmes podcast. Have a guess.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Sherlock Holmes, but it's an interesting one. So, Columbo, right? So you have Columbo, you have all these detectives, TV detectives. Is there anyone that you watch and you go, oh, yeah, I like him? Is there any, now it can be present day, it can be past, it can be wherever you want. Like it could be, I don't know. Whatever you want. Is there anybody out there you go, oh yeah, that was a good show. That was good. I enjoyed it.
Do you know, I've been watching House. I know that's not a detective series, but it's based on Sherlock Holmes, isn't it? Because and House is Holmes and his best mate is Wilson instead of Watson.
Okay.
So I'll go for that as well. But it depends on whether you like your detectives to be cerebral or you like the Sweeney. And I love the Sweeney.
Okay. I like Touch of Frost with David Jason.
Yeah.
I like that. And then there was another one with John Tarr in it, wasn't it? What was that?
There's Morse.
Morse. I like Morse.
Yeah.
I really like Morse. If you were Holmes, who would be your Watson? Who's your psychic?
Trev? Yeah.
Don't think Trev would be great as a psychic.
Well, I think he'd be very good at finding a literal quote. Because don't forget, Watson's the pen man, isn't he? He writes up all the stories.
Yeah, but
so he is the action man too. But you need someone to make notes and do all the work in the background.
Okay, so
I see. You're right. Trev's crap at admin, isn't he?
Yeah, no, Trev wouldn't be a. But I wouldn't mind seeing you and Trev, not doing Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that, but you and Trev being, detectives. But I'd love to see Trev in a beanie hat just smoking, chain smoking.
Yeah.
Chain smoking and just little hip flask and stuff like that. Like that, I'd love to see Trev
bullying witnesses.
Yeah, bullying witnesses with that real rogue Irish accent, that he has.
Yeah.
And tipping ash at them because he's a chain smoker. I'd love that. Chris Brack says,
so I should say, do you know that I once wrote a couple of pages of dialogue for an idea I've got called something called CSI Downey, because he looks like, he wears that leather jacket with his very thin scarf.
Yeah.
And he looks like Serpico, except in San Francisco, where he solves crimes for the DSI.
I love that.
He sorts out the DA, and also helps out the San Francisco local hemp merchants and sustainable villagers in his spare time, and they all call him Pancho.
I'd love that. I'd absolutely.
I wrote a full script for this.
Oh well, send it to me. Email it to me and I'll read it. I love that. Barry Carr says, random question: how close do you think Bobby can go with his high kicks without actually kicking anyone? Distance, please. He can get quite close, and I'd be interested to see, like, if we have the league wrapped up and we score a goal and Bobby goes to do a kick and misreads it and kicks his own player in the back of the head. Would it be a red card for violent conduct? I'd love to see what happened.
Do you know what he doesn't do, though? I do taekwondo. He doesn't turn his standing foot enough, and that's why he can't quite get any higher.
All right, we need to let him know.
Yeah,
we need to let him know. Then
I'll shout at him from 2:02 tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Brack says House is excellent. Not Red says the Rockford Files. Keith Plunkett says Diagnosis Murder. Quincy MD. You can't beat the classics. Avo asks
Quincy's great. Quincy is great. And the Rockford Files is Tony Evans' favourite programme of all time.
Avo,
he never shuts up about it.
Who?
Tony Evans' favourite programme of all time is the Rockford Files.
It's the Rockford Files. Okay, that doesn't surprise me. Avo the Third says, do you rate Elementary, the American version of Holmes?
Never seen it, to be honest.
Okay.
Just because I don't like, and it's like I don't watch the Robert Downey Jr. films either. Even though I've got a mate who's in one of them. And it's the old Partridge thing with Bonds. Just don't get it wrong. Don't annoy me. So I don't watch it.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, you don't want to ruin there's, and I suppose there's loads of classic shows out there that I love, and I'd hate to see them try remake, or do a version of, and well, yeah, and like I watched last week. I finished off after a massive gap of not watching it. I finished off Shameless, the UK version of Shameless,
yes,
which I loved from start to finish. Absolutely loved it. The humour in it, the stuff that went on, brilliant. But I cannot bring myself to watch an episode of the American version.
Yeah, because you lose all the nuance, don't you?
Yeah,
you lose like the private jokes and things.
And they have to change loads of lines, and they have to change people and stuff like that. So it's not for me.
It's like doing Father Ted in Florida.
Yes, it is.
What's the bloody point?
Yeah. It'd be like, it just wouldn't work. Anyone watching the Super Bowl, asked Megan McCallion on Sunday, fancies the Kansas City Chiefs. I hope the 49ers win it, because Matt of this parish decided to support American football this season, just in general to annoy people. Which he succeeded at, and he picked the 49ers completely at random, and if they go and win the Super Bowl, he will have such a great time on social media, just just annoying people, and he likes doing it. So best of luck to him with that. I think that's about it. I think the random questions have dried up a little. We're both going for Liverpool win tomorrow. I'm going 3-1. Karl is going 2-0. We have a couple of bets in there which we're going to throw up. I think Megan picked one. Karl picked one, and somebody else threw in Liverpool and Gomez, which I picked as well.
Yeah.
Do you rate The Wire?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best.
Although I thought the last season was a bit silly.
Yeah, it's one of the best. Like, and a lot of people watch the first and then think it's amazing, and then nothing else lives up to the first series. I think it's absolutely brilliant. The Word is brilliant. The Sopranos obviously is unreal. Breaking Bad.
It's just that's the template of all great television.
Well, The Sopranos I think is better than The Wire.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad is in there. There's loads of good stuff. My wife recommends the one where they're all on the motorbike. Oh, they're like in Hell's Angels group. I can't think of the name of it, but my wife recommends that.
No, I don't know that.
What's it called? Someone's going to tell me now before we finish. Barry Carr says the 49ers for him. Dylan O'Rourke says hello. Dylan, you're very, very late, man. We're just finishing up. Chris Brack says 4-0. Keith Plunker has the 49ers all the way. Northred asks, do you have a big magnifying glass? I don't think so. I don't. I know that.
I've got breaking news. Aston Villa have signed Borja Baston.
Okay. Who's he?
No idea, but I think I know the name Borja from somewhere.
Borja, you know, from being at West Brom a couple of years ago, the Spanish.
Is that what it is?
That's where I know him from.
Thinking of, yeah.
Sons of Anarchy is the name of the show I was thinking of. Thanks to Keith and Chris for that. But look, that's it. That's been the FB4 Daily. It's been a really good show. We've done our predictions. We've had a look at the lineups. Karl, you're going to the game tomorrow, of course.
Yeah.
And you're expecting another win, and the Reds to go 22 points clear. Glenner has 2-1 for the game, just to let you know, because Glenner is a regular listener, and if he throws in a prediction, I like to follow up on it. What's going to happen Sunday night? We'll be back on Sunday night for our standard FB4 podcast. I will be back. The club will be back on Monday. I will be back on possibly Wednesday. FA Cup game is Wednesday. I'll be back on Wednesday and Friday. And if I can fit that in between as we go along, we absolutely will. Karl, thanks a million for joining us. And say hello to Trev, the sidekick, the chain smoker, as I like him to be from now on.
Pancho, yeah.
Pancho, yeah, we call him Pancho. And now all I can't stop thinking now is, wasn't there a guy called Pancho on one of these shows that they dared each other to do things? They were Welsh. One of them was Welsh. It was on NTV.
I think. Well, I've got this from Serpico, where they give him isn't Al Pacino, instead of being called, did they call him Charlie or something?
Yeah, well,
Sanchez, I think they call him, because he's in the Hispanic district.
Right. So the name of the show for Pancho was Dirty Sanchez. Which was similar to the American Johnny Knoxville thing that they used to do over there.
And this is CSI Downey side.
CSI Downey is an amazing name. Listen, we're genuinely going. That's it. That's the end of it. We'll talk to you in a bit. Enjoy the game tomorrow. Hopefully the Reds come out with a weekend even further ahead than they already are. But if they don't worry about it. It's definitely happening, number 19. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.